All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit all the buttons, but most of all, love one another, hit that love button. All right. Anyway, I want to talk about Kanye West again, and I kind of want to break it down a little bit differently so that you understand my point of view and what I'm talking about when it comes down to the white supremacist agenda for Africans, African Americans, descendants of Africans. So basically, the white supremacist agenda is this. They want to indoctrinate you into the religion of Christianity, because the religion of Christianity, even more so than Islam, is because the religion of Christianity has been watered down, has been plagiarized, has been faked, and basically throughout history and throughout time, it has been conformed so that it fits into being what I call the King James Version, especially the King James Version of the Bible, is the white supremacy handbook. It supports rape, murder, incest, slavery, all kinds of stuff that, I mean, is just not moral, and it's immoral. So to sit up there and call a book holy that's very much immoral is wrong. And so they try to indoctrinate you, or they did indoctrinate us for 300 years, 400 years, 400 years. We've been indoctrinated by this book. And, since it was released in the 1600s, at least. So, and we were forced to accept this religion. This is not our religion. It is not our spirituality. It is not our math. It is not our science. What it is indoctrination, plain and simple. And the same thing can be said for Islam. I'm not letting Islam off the hook. However, in Islam, at least, it's a little bit more in its pure form. And I think that, but it's still, even with that, Islam and Christianity were made by the same people in order to keep people fighting between one another. All right, because if you notice, I mean, Abraham is Abraham, right? Well, I mean, so, anyway, it's just ridiculous that they keep fighting. Anyway, that's not what this is about. I'm trying to get you to the point of Kanye. Okay, so you've been indoctrinated. And as a matter of fact, to show you just how insidious this plot is that after Constantine and after King James, they even forced their own people into Christian doctrine. Christian doctrine was not accepted. That's where you get the word Protestant or Protestant. People who protested the fact that they were being, indoctrinated into Christianity. They were not about it. There were some people that understood the spirituality. That's why you had the witch hunts. That's why you had the Crusades. That's why you had, France, England, Spain were murdering people in droves who disagreed with Christian doctrine. So if you didn't go along with Christianity, you put your life in danger. The guillotine in France was all about killing people that did not accept Christianity. That's what it was about. It had nothing else to do with anything else. It was just about, if you don't accept Christianity, we kill you. All right. And you can see the residues of these things even today. All right. So it wasn't just about slavery. It was more so about, look, this whole indoctrination so that we can have power and control over you. And that's basically what it boiled down to. So now, when it comes to Kanye, the reason why Kanye is being pushed forward to us right now is because of the fact that there have been studies. There is a group that does studies about religion and about the trends and everything in religion. Well, for the past 10 to 15 years, the trend has been that Africans and African Americans have been leaving religion in very high numbers. Well, this is detrimental to white supremacy. It's detrimental to white supremacy because they can't control you once you become awakened, or once you become woke, or once you become enlightened, or once you become your pineal gland is open and you can see with your third eye. But once you have third eye vision, there's nobody that can really bother you or mess with you, because what? You're talking directly to the Most High. So everything has been done to try to keep that from happening. And you can even see, so in the last few years, and once again, I go back to my background as a gospel music programmer. My background as a gospel music programmer for over 20 years, and I saw everything that went on. As time went on and people started drawing away from the church, especially men were leaving the church like it was like never before. And so basically what you had a whole bunch of women, and basically that's what you have now. You have women that are running the church, and they got one daddy, who is the head of the flock or the head of this, that, and the other thing. And basically the whole thing started them in a movement of trying to figure out how we can draw these people back in. And so that's when we started getting, now you have contemporary services, the pastor doesn't dress up in a suit and tie anymore. He's got on a t-shirt and hip shoes and all of this kind of stuff, so everything came around full circle. Then we started the movement in the music because, and I mentioned this in another video, but at a point it got to be that, nobody was listening to the older traditional gospel artists. And here's the thing. The gospel music industry is controlled by the exact same people. Once again, people, please listen. It is controlled by the exact same people who control secular music. They do not believe in Jesus Christ. Okay? They do not practice Christianity. They don't know anything about it. All they see, and you'll notice the pattern in every movie, in every television show, there's always a scene about Jesus. There's a funeral. There's a church service. These things are indoctrinated. They're included in every single media thing that we do. There's always going to be, Jesus is going to be included in those things. And why? That's just to draw you in. Plain and simple, it's just to draw you in. And then the music has changed. Of course, now all of a sudden, you have trap gospel. You have trap music that is considered to be gospel. And all they're doing is selling records. And let me explain where the money goes. The money does not go back to the black community. So they're not paying us. And once again, let me give you that figure. We have $500 billion. $500 billion every single year goes into the church, goes into the black church. Now, I'm not talking about the white church. I'm talking about just the black church. All right. So we're talking about $500 billion. And where's that money going? Who's getting that money? And like I said, it's going to the major, like I said before, it's going to the major banks, the major insurance companies, the major stock brokerage houses. All of those people are the ones that are being the beneficiaries of that money. Why? Because you put it into the collection plate, the pastor puts it into the bank, and then who gets an opportunity to use it? Are they giving you loans? Are they subsidizing your loans? Are they building houses in your community? Are they building businesses in your communities? No. Can you go and get a loan? No. Can you go and get finance to build a shopping mall or an apartment complex, or and I'm not talking about just a house. I'm talking about they're doing major projects. You cannot put $500 billion in the bank and somebody is not using it. So wake up. And the same thing is true for the music. The music, gospel music is just like any other form of secular music. It has there's no difference in the way it is promoted, in the way that it is financed, in the way that the artists are basically stolen from on a continuous basis. These artists are not getting rich. The music companies are getting rich. The record companies are getting rich. The streaming services are getting rich. They are the ones that are getting rich, not us. So they have a vested interest in making sure that Jesus and the gospel is alive. So that's what Kanye West is about. Kanye, and all of a sudden you look, the biggest Caucasian white pastor, Joel Osteen, has invited him to his church, that he's supposed to be there, this week. Well, guess what? He's also paying him, $300,000 to show up. Okay. And basically, what is this? It's a re-indoctrination. When I talk to you about how the King James Version of the Bible, it's a curse. It's a curse over the indigenous people of the world. It is a curse. It is incantations. It is spells. It is rituals. That's what they are. The same thing that they tell you is evil, they're using in order to steal money from you on a daily basis. And I'm talking about on a daily basis. Even mainstream black radio plays inspirational music, like they'll play an inspirational song of the day or one of those type of things. And as you notice throughout time, all of that music has transformed. See, in the old school, they used to take a washboard and a tambourine and a harmonica and that was it. Now you have big elaborate productions of music because they understand the muse. And I've talked about the muse, the fact that they understand your psyche, because the seven notes on the musical scale are in your spirituality. So it appeals to your emotion, it appeals to your spirit. Why? Because it is innate within you. It is already within you. So they use it against you, and that's how they look. That's the whole thing behind the entire music industry. The music industry and the movie industry, that's why we're so successful at it, and that when it comes down to being artists, but we're not successful at it when it comes to business. That's why there are a few people that may be successful when it comes to business, but most of those people are people that have stolen from other people. They're not at the upper echelons. And I'm talking about even people, in the higher, even the Africans and descendants of Africans and descendants of slaves that are in the higher echelons of that business, they're still not at the top. Even your Jay-Z's and your P. Diddy's and your Tyler Perry's and all that, they're beholden to somebody else. They owe somebody else, or they have to go to somebody else to get their music or to get their movies or to get whatever it is. They have to go to somebody else in order to get that stuff played. So please be aware, and we're spending, and right now, the whole Comcast case with Byron Allen is going on, and we don't realize we go see the Harriet Tubman movie, and that's actually, benefiting Comcast, because Comcast, if you look down and you look through who owns what, Comcast owns the rights to Harriet Tubman. That's who owns the rights. It's not black people. It's not Harriet Tubman's descendants who should be getting the money. And that's how it always goes. They always got their hand in the cookie jar, but they didn't never make the cookies. So it's the same thing. So Kanye, he's a coon. He's just a front for white supremacy. And that's because he's the Pied Piper. He's the one that's playing the tune that's going to draw you in. Jesus walks, Jesus is king. All of these different things, and even the pastors that are at the higher echelons, they understand. They know this. They the stuff that I'm telling you, they already know. But they're in it for the money. They're not in it to save souls. And if you look, once again, I have to include something about Kemetic spirituality. When you talk about Kemetic spirituality, the one thing that you have to realize is that the pharaohs and the kings and the priests back then, they were about both things. They weren't just about religion. They were also about building things to support the people and to support the community and to support the society. That's what they were about. These pastors that we have now, look at all the things that go on, the brutality, all of the murders, fratricide, homicide, all this stuff that's going on in our communities, but none of them say anything. But they're on TV collecting your money, telling you about Seed Time and Harvest Ministry, telling you about the Prosperity Ministry. Oh, if you sow a seed, brother, you're going to get blessed. They're telling us that every single day, but they're not taking that money and putting it back to where it needs to be. Pay some old lady's light bill, pay some rents, do something, but stop, giving us a whole bunch of, rhetoric and stuff that's not even true, and preaching a gospel that's not even true. How is it good news if you still in poverty and you still in slavery? Anyway, like button, subscribe button, notification button. I love you all. Hit the love button.